I was going through it today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So at this point, there are 9 pre-quals in play. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The last month, which we're going to discuss what happened, I gave a 40% effort. So I'm comfortable in being honest and saying that if I gave it to 100%, maybe I would have turned it into 12, 13. I gave her 3 buyers. She started giving me, when she would get her own people, she'd say, hey, you should shop for your mortgage, call George. And it started what we want, that relationship of opening and different things. So the system works. Whatever you got going on works. Now, again, the other thing I would be open to, I'm not trying to get, there's another thing, as I told you, I'm making the transition over. So I am still with, I'm wrapping up my pipeline and I'm looking to make my segue. And we still have the CRM active and I'm still making calls. Like I said, out of a scale 1 to 10, we hit an 8.5. I am not unhappy in any way. I feel I got a good value for my dollar. I knew going in, this was not going to happen overnight. I knew it's a long haul thing. I know there's a technical curve and a lot of different things. And I know now, which I knew before those 2 other companies, this is where I should have been. I just now need to somehow, some way, again, get it towards, again, let's put it this way. If we look at this in a realistic standpoint and we say, hey, 300 leads were created by my own numbers. We pulled 10 pre-quals, so a 3% follow-through rate or 3.3. Okay, well, now what? So if I could have pulled 10 deals from Nassau or Suffolk where the sale price is $450, whole different ball game. Now we're like, oh, turn up the dial. Let's now pull it up. So that's sort of my mentality where I'm looking to go. Listen, I know the business is there on Facebook. This only proves it.
Like a lot of people are asking me, well, what have you seen over the last, 2-3 months with all these market changes? And I'm like, it's hard to say because I won't really know how this all plays out probably for another 3-6 more months.
Listen, the way I put it, I look at it as this way. Unless tomorrow across the country, the average sale price of home is 50 grand, mortgages are always needed. It's just the way it is. And whether rates are 4%, 6%, 18%, 12%, doesn't matter. It is what it is. Now, there is, if you look at it, there is a correlative factor that as interest rates come down, home prices go up. And as interest rates go up, home prices come down. It has to be with people being able to qualify. So we're going to see all of that. At the end of the day, the way I look at it as a loan officer, I'm not looking to own the universe. If I do $3 million worth of business per month, I do very well. So $3 million worth of business, what is that, 4 to 7 loans? So I think it's safe to say with over 50,000 loans going on in New York, and I'm just making up a number because I'm sure it's more than that, for me to get 70 of them at the end of the year, there's no issues here. You may have to change your pricing. You may have to, give a little bit back. You may have to chase a little bit more. But at the end of the day, and listen, the other thing too is you do got to get the realtors. The days of calling up and saying, I'm a great guy are over. You have to bring something to the table. So you got 2 choices, I say to those loan officers. Do nothing and hope they knock on your door, or try something. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, you gave some pretty good tips. Do you have any other tips as far as like what you did with realtors and work with them, or how you mentioned?
Well, I think it's like everything else. I initially approached the realtor, although they're in my industry, in essence, my cousin. I'm trying to sell them, and they don't want to be sold. So right from the get-go, I don't call me personally, not as of yet anyway. I don't call a realtor from the blue and say, hey, give me your business. So I'm calling us. So listen, my name is George Massey. I'm a mortgage banker for 25 years. I'm in Long Island, New York. This is not your Monday call with me begging you for business. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I have a true qualified borrower looking to borrow in your area, and I don't have a realtor I can work with. I'd welcome passing on to, yes, I'm open to speaking about things in the future, But for now, it's for me to get this borrower a home. And then from there, they'll come at me, well, what do they qualify for? And once they realize I start talking about LTVs and DTIs and programs and sellers concessions, they realize I know what I'm talking about. And then I let it alone. And then I put the borrower in touch, and then I follow up. And then what starts to happen, I'm going, hey, I spoke with Betty. I know you showed her the house. I have a note right here. And as crazy as it sounds, the name of the street really is Main Street. Hey, I know you showed Jose the house on 490 Main Street. How did it go? What did they think? And they get the idea that I'm on my game. And then, because the way this marketing works, if you're smart, what you begin to see is that once you get a response, is generally focusing to a degree on that same area. So I'm getting generally in a small radius the same people. So I don't overwhelm one realtor, but what I do is that I stack them. So all of a sudden I call Betty on Monday. By Wednesday, she's working with Bart. By the way, I got a new one for you. And then what starts to happen, then it's a conversation, well, how you get, I do social media marketing, listen, like this woman that I'm dealing with here, she wants me to do, there's like a commerce trade show. Buffalo is unique.
Yeah.
So you just got to know how to open the door. And like I said, if I had a situation for one that, which is interesting, a woman I spoke with from our marketing, who she's got some credit issues I'm playing with, and I'll talk about that in a moment. She referred me to one of her friends, and I have the deal right here. And she's looking to buy in Poughkeepsie, New York. So the second I reached out to a realtor there, the first realtor I wasn't impressed with at all. I could just tell he wasn't on his game. So I'll pull another one. So you got to know it's not about finding a realtor. It's about finding that right niche. But it goes back down to, if you're that loan officer that saved $4,000 and you're going to start this in January 1st and hope you close a deal in January to fund February, you're done before you begin. You have to be prepared that in this market, it's a time game. But here's the good news. If you pull three calls in January, 3 in February, 3 in March, they start to close out in April. And now you're duplicating the same formula. By the time you get to the end of the year, you now got 30 of them in queue, and it's just a momentum. You just know how to have to work the system. It takes time. I think one of the fallacies, and I fell for it. That I went to 2 other companies, and I fell for it, is that you're under this mentality. It happens right away. Doesn't. You got to be in it for the long haul. You got to have on the other end a company that's responsive, that you can say, hey, this is what we need to fix or do, and think in the long haul. And it works. It's just the way of the world. It's just, unless you got $5 million on a TV commercial at the Super Bowl, this is it. Listen, it works. This again, I will tell you again, all the way north, this CRM, and I've used them all, but it's so user-friendly. You could go in there without looking at your tutorials if you spend a couple hours and figure it all out, and it's not complicated. The other thing I will say, as you hear what's going on in the marketplace, when the markets were super strong and crazy, sellers didn't want to hear your FHA, goodbye.
Yep.
You don't have 20% down, goodbye.
Yep.
You don't have a 720 score, goodbye. Whereas now they're more open to what the market should be. It doesn't matter. The check is the check as long as it comes. That's beginning to pull back a little bit. The sellers are beginning to say, okay, let's take, not everyone has 20% down and we'll pay 15% above, which is unique again because of the creative we use, which is, for lack of a better term, is attempting to target an FHA buyer.